In this video, I'm going to go over some of the problems that were on the 11.1 through 11.3 review that you did on Monday. I think it was Monday. And some of you in your reflection on that work said that you had some questions about different things on here. So the first skill that was on that review was from 11.1, which was to identify direct and inverse variation. And I'm going to take just a minute on that skill. In general, direct variation is when something is proportional. So you've studied direct variation when you've studied proportional relationships, which we know proportional relationships are linear. And so this is just another word for that. So that's going to be any time that y varies directly with x, and we call that call this the constant of proportionality. When we're talking about just a linear equation, we call it the slope. And notice that there's nothing here, so this has to be plus 0. So if you look at a table of values, such as was in problem number 2, we had 1, 6, 2, 12, 3, 18, 4, 24, and you're noticing that I'm multiplying by 6 each time, then you know that it's direct variation, it's proportional, because that k is always 6. So this k is a constant, and in my Math 7A class we learned that that's, so you would have learned that last year, that that's called the constant of proportionality, and that's a direct variation. For inverse variation, y also varies with respect to x, but it is like this. So the x is in the denominator. So for example, on problem number 1, there was a table that was 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 60, negative 30, negative 20, and negative 15. So each of these, so I can't multiply x times something to get to y, but I can divide some constant by x to get to y. So for example, negative 60 equals k over 1, negative 30 equals k over 2, negative 20 equals k over 3. So on each of these, if you solved for k, in this case k would equal negative 60, this case k would be equal negative 60, this case k is equal to negative 60, and multiplying both sides by 3. So in this case, my equation is y equals negative 60 over x, and we say that y varies inversely with respect to x. So if you can, bottom line is if you can fit it into this equation, it's direct, and if the equation looks more like this with the x in the denominator, it's inverse. The next section of this review assignment asked you to do some things related to graphing, although it never actually asked you to graph anything. But graphing, finding excluded values, identifying the asymptotes, and identifying the domain and range kind of all go together. So I'm just going to do one problem from 8 through 10, and I'm going to do all of these things related to it, even though those weren't the directions on the review sheet. I did have some people ask me some questions about graphing in general. So I'm going to use this problem. It's problem number 10. Where I have something that looks like this. So when I want to graph, the first thing that I want to do is find the asymptotes. So I'm going to write asymptotes here because it's pretty related to the excluded values. So I'm only going to sketch a graph here. Let me go pretty quickly. I know that x cannot be negative 6. So at x equals negative 6, I'm going to have an asymptote, and I'm going to just sketch that in kind of like a line of symmetry. That I know I can't touch that line, I can't cross that line. I also know that at y equals 9, I'm going to have an asymptote. So I know that this is not y equals 9 right here. I didn't make my graph in the right spot. All right, so I just went back and moved my graph because I decided that it would be better to be able to make it look correct. So this was my this is my asymptote where x equals -6, and then this is my asymptote where y equals 9. Those are my asymptotes, so y equals 9 and x equals -6. My excluded value is just that x can't equal -6, but we say that the excluded value is where x equals -6. So we don't say that an excluded value is y equals 9. If I were in charge of the world, we would say that, but you can say that both of them are asymptotes. And I wouldn't get too hung up on that. Like, I wouldn't worry about if you're, why would we call one an excluded value and the other one not? If you're thinking that, you're right with my thinking as well. Then I'm going to make my curve, and I want to think about my parent function. I want to think about what my basic function looks like. So I know that I'm going to have kind of this swoopy thing right here, and then a swoopy thing right here. And I know that I'm going to have a point somewhere in here, and then it's going to get closer and closer to this asymptote and closer to that asymptote. So I'm actually going to look and see at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, if I had negative, I'm gonna do -5. So if x is -5, -5 plus 6 is 1, then y is going to equal 3. So I started to say -5, and then I did a little mental math in my head, and I was like, yep, that's what I want. I want this to be something where I have whole numbers. So I'm at -5. I'm sorry, it's not 3. This is 3, but this would make it 12, right? So I'm going to change my point to make, so -5 is going to be right here. 12 is 10, 11. There's 12. So I know actually somewhere maybe at -4, I'm going to have 3. -4 plus 2 is -4 plus 6 is 2, so 3/2 plus 9. So that's going to be 10.5. So at -4, I am right here. I can handle a half. I don't want to be any other, more precise of a fraction. And then let's just do at -3. At -3 plus 6, I have 1 plus 9 is 10. So -3, I'm going to be right there. So as you can see, I'm starting to get the shape of that and how it's in there. And then I just come along those asymptotes. Got a little too close down here. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite. So you can include more values in your table, or you can say that from this point, I'm over to up 1.5. So I'm going to be right. I want it to be exactly symmetrical. And again, I could do more points in my table to come up with precisely where that is, but whoops, that is bad. You get the idea, though. That's going to skim along that asymptote. Then so that's what my graph is going to look like. I've already talked about the excluded values and the asymptotes. Then you also are likely to be asked about the domain and range. So the domain is just going to be all of the values of x. So all real numbers except x equal -6. And then your range is going to be all real numbers except y equals 9. And then finally, the last skill on this review was to simplify rational expressions. So this was problems 13 through 17, and I had people request all of those. So I'm just going to work my way through them. So on number 13, we have 12 y to the 4th divided by 24 y to the 5th. So I'm going to reduce the numbers to 1 over 2, and then I'm going to reduce the variables, so all of those go away, and then there's 1 left down here, so I have 1 over 2y. On number 14, I have 2z minus 1 over z plus 2. I look for a greatest common factor. Here, I don't see one. I look for a greatest common factor. Here, I don't see one. I know that I'm not going to be able to factor this using some of my methods related to quadratics because I don't have a square, so this one is actually fully simplified. On problem number 15, I actually have quite a few things I can do. So in the numerator, I know that I'm going to be able to factor this using a diamond, or many of you are going to be at the point right now where you recognize that that's x minus 4 times x plus 2. And then on the bottom, I can also factor that, and I don't have a greatest common factor, so I have to factor where a is not equal to 1. So if you remember, this is where we do 28 and 11. This is going to be 7 and 4, but because a equals 2, this is going to be 2 and 2. So my factors are 2x plus 7 and x plus 2. So once I've factored both the numerator and the denominator, then I can start canceling. I can't just cancel this x and this x because those are terms within this binomial. But this whole thing is being multiplied by this whole thing, so this is a factor and this is a factor. Because they're factors, I can cancel them, so my final answer is going to be x minus 4 over 2x plus 7. Number 16 is one of these word problems that makes me laugh because they put a picture and some words and make it a word problem, but really they show the dimensions of the computer monitor just as this. So I'm going to factor, and I'm just going to hope that we're feeling good about factoring. So this is 2x minus 1 times x plus 5 and x plus 3. I'm just going to double check this because I'm having a hard time reading my writing. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay, and then the denominator is going to be x plus 3. And again, because this is a factor and this is a factor, I can cancel both of those, and my final answer for that one is 2x minus 1. If I'm asked for the excluded values, I always want to go back to when I have fully factored, but before I've started canceling. So I would have an excluded value here of -3. I'm going to scooch back up here for a second. This excluded value would be -7 over 2, but I would also have an excluded value of x equals -2 because I have to go back to my fully factored, but before I start reducing problem to identify those excluded values. Sorry for that last little bit. I lost my screen recorder and it was still recording, but I couldn't find where it was. I also realized when I was having to play it back that you were not necessarily seeing where I was pointing at. So I thought when I did this that you could see what I was doing. And I'm not sure about that now. So I'm sorry if sometimes you're lost because you can't see where I'm pointing because I thought my pointer worked. All right, so that's it for a review of 11.1 through 11.3. Please let me know if you have more questions about those. I'm also going to put a clever assignment, assign a clever assignment that won't be due until next Friday as optional practice. So I'm actually going to assign all of the review problems for this chapter. So if you want to go in and practice some of them, you can skip around as much as you want so that you, again, people ask me for additional practice on, specifically on simplifying rational expressions. All right, see you tomorrow.